Namaste, namaste. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Sunday morning yin yoga practice. So I encourage you to find a nice comfy seat, sitting if you can, maybe on something, lifting those hips up a little higher than your knees. And of course, I know I say this all the time, but that also does mean that you can be on a chair, anything between the floor and a chair. Something that just feels that you can feel like you're connected to the earth. So in a chair, you would just be really focusing on how the soles of your feet feel against the earth. Whereas when we're in a seat, we get to feel our sit bones moving down into the earth and checking in with your spine and your shoulders, your jaw, your face, taking your time to arrive and move inwards into how your breath feels, and perhaps noticing what it is that you need from your practice today. Our yin practice is a chance to kind of dive into those quiet moments. But at the very start of our practice, that can feel like it's very difficult. So we just have to be patient, give ourselves time, give ourselves that space to move into a space of quietness, quietude. And a really lovely way of kind of bringing a little bit of action into that is really to start to follow the breath. So we draw a nice breath in through the nose and follow the breath, feel the breath moving down into the belly. We start to get quite curious where the breath travels to. And then on the exhale, following the breath up along the spine. So at first, you might not even know what that feels like, looks like, what am I talking about? But when we practice it, inhaling, we get a sense of the actual breath, the physicality of that breath moving down. And then on the exhale, feeling the breath traveling up through the spine, out through the nose. So it does take practice, like anything. Inhaling, even though we are breathing creatures, we don't always tend to pay the breath so much attention. Exhaling. Nice. Inhaling. So just as long as the breath is becoming smoother. Exhaling. Noticing how it might feel a little bit longer than the first breath that you took this way. Inhaling, nice long smooth breath in. Now what we might start to notice is as the breath moves down, the energy moves up. And as you exhale now, the breath moves up, but the energy moves down. So getting into that nice circular motion with breath, inhaling, noticing that exchange of energy, exhaling. Lovely. And then for this one, we're going to see if we can breathe into a count of 5. And does that change the belly? Do the lungs fill out? And then exhaling to a count of 5. Just 2 more like that. Inhaling to a count of 5. And exhaling to a count of 5. So really keeping that breath nice and even, smooth and steady. One more like that, inhaling. And exhaling. Nice. So just allowing yourself now to be kind of with your breath, but without the action layer that we just included. Nice. Just noticing how that makes you feel. Your mind, your energy, your presence. Lovely. And then we're going to just start a little bit of movement, actually, tiny little movement of your head. So let's start with our left ear towards the left shoulder and a very slow circle. So the chin comes in towards the chest and your right ear comes towards your shoulder. We're not going to go back. We're just going to come forward again. So chin comes down. Left ear to left shoulder, but not too much. And then we come back around the front, just taking your time. You have to move very slowly in our yin practice. That can be quite challenging. But again, it's all about noticing what our reaction is to this type of movement. Lovely. And then let's come back to the middle so that your chin is down. And as we inhale, we're going to lift our head up. Lovely. So turning your head now to look to the right. Inhaling, coming back to the center, turning your head to look to the left. Nice. And then inhale, coming back to the center. Lovely. So we're going to come now into a supported fish pose. So I hope you have something like a rolled up blanket that you can place behind you, underneath you, kind of behind your heart really. So rolled up blanket or bolster if you have one. And it's always nice to start with the feet on the floor. So if you come down, you really want this little lift right behind the shoulder blades. So it's quite high up the back. You know, you don't want it down the lower part of the lungs or the middle back, any pinching down there. It's more this upper part of the back. And then, of course, if you need a pillow underneath your head, then, you know, keep your head lifted a little bit. But in a way, we want our arms to be able to reach out to the side, palms facing up, and that lift now through the heart, through the front of the body. So just checking in as you place yourself in this shape, you know, what muscles start getting involved, where is getting involved to kind of act as a protection, and can we, you know, with full awareness, create a shape that's going to be right for us, that feels interesting. There's always a certain element of challenge actually to a yin pose. It's not a relaxing as such. It kind of has a different practice to restorative. Even though there are restorative qualities to this practice, it's different. So you want to find something that feels interesting but isn't hurting. There's no pain involved. And then with your legs, you can either keep them like this with the knees bent, pointing up towards the sky, or you could take the knees out to the side. You might like to have blocks underneath your legs for support, or you could take your legs straight out, as long as the legs and the hips are relaxed. And then you come back into your breath. So noticing how your breath feels, how this generally feels for yourself, kind of being open like this with your heart can feel quite challenging for all sorts of different reasons. So just make sure the shoulders are relaxing towards the earth, this play with gravity. Your breath is smooth. And then we can come back to that practice of breathing into a count of 5 and breathing out to a count of 5. Being present. Lovely. And then of course, if you do have a mantra that you like to use in your meditation practice, this would be a really good opportunity to come into your meditation practice. All the while we're trusting the earth, trusting our props, trusting ourselves. Enjoying this quietness, maybe being aware of the sounds around you, but all the while coming back to your practice, to your heart. Lovely. So we'll begin to kind of come to the end of this shape, taking a nice deep breath in and exhaling, nice long smooth breath out. And then slowly we'll bend the knees, take the soles of the feet to the earth, and then taking your left hand kind of behind your head, maybe lifting your head up a little, we're going to roll over onto our right side. So just taking your time to move quite slowly, making our way up. And let's come into a wide-kneed child's pose, where we have our knees nice and wide, big toes touching. Of course, if you need to come sideways on your mat because your knees come off the mat, that's fine. Just make sure you have some cushioning underneath your knees. And then we're going to come forward. Now, to begin with, just have your arms on the blanket. And we're breathing into the back of the body. And we really want to feel something on the inside of the legs. This becomes more about the legs your hips, your knees, your ankles, all those joints that need to be looked after. And then taking your time to come into your breath. So again, we just want to create something that has our attention, has our interest, kind of keeps us here in this moment, in the practice, really. As long as it's not a sharp pain. It's not about pain. It's about creating a pull, a tug on the meridian lines that's just right. So of course, always noticing if things change. And a very good indicator if anything's changed is where your mind has gone to. So if the mind has started to wander, it tends to be a lovely indication that things have changed in where we're feeling this particular shape. So it means the ankles have adjusted, the knees are coping, the inside of the legs. So if that's the case, then that's a lovely little invitation to perhaps kind of change the shape ever so slightly, just to keep that edginess to it. But of course, maybe nothing's changed. So we have to really be our own teacher and respond accordingly, kind of intelligently, not from an ego, but from the body. The body is in charge here. Lovely. So beginning to take a nice deep breath in. And exhaling, nice long smooth breath out. And then as we inhale, we'll start to make our way up. So hands come underneath our shoulders. And sometimes it feels very fragile coming out of shape. So just taking your time, bring one knee in, then the other knee. And then from here, you're going to come onto your back. So we're coming onto our back. Just feel how nice that is for the spine to be kind of back in this shape again. You may have noticed there was some action happening with your lower back being in that shape. You know, we we're all, even though we all have these similar bodies made up of bones and the same sort of structure generally, everybody's body is different. So it might just feel very nice for the spine to be in this shape again now. So that was very much about the kind of inside of the hips. We're going to do a move that is more now targeting the outside of our hip. So we're going to bring the right ankle to the top of the left knee. And then we're going to bring that left knee in towards us. So it's kind of like thread the needle shape. But from here we're going to take this kind of leg structure as it is towards the ground, so over to the left. So the legs stay kind of like in this formation. The left knee comes down, the right foot is on the floor, the right knee is kind of pointing up-ish towards the sky. And then just noticing how that feels for the right hip. So you want to take hold of maybe the left hand taking hold of that right ankle. And then you're going to create a twist, reaching the right arm away. So it should really kind of get into the outside here of the right hip, the right side of the body. But just enough that you can breathe. So, of course, we're trying not to use our muscles, and sometimes we have to really scan again, double check, make sure that we're not engaging any muscles, or even that we have to just remind ourselves to let go of any action there in the muscles. This is really a practice about the more plastic tissues in the body, our bones, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue. Lovely. So beginning to take a nice deep breath in now. Exhaling, nice long smooth breath out. And then as we inhale, we're going to slowly bring those legs back up. Taking your right foot to the floor. You might like to straighten the legs out along the mat for a moment, just so you can notice the difference, feel the difference between the right side and the left side. Kind of new energy maybe around the right leg, right hip. Nice. And let's set up for the other side now. So let's bend the right knee, sole of the foot to the floor, and take the left ankle atop across the top of that right knee. And then bringing the right knee in towards you. So already there's a little interest there into the left hip. But it does move around a little bit more to the outside when we create this twist. So the knees, the legs come down over to the right now. Right hand maybe holding onto your ankle. Left arm reaches away and slowly turning your head to look over the left arm, but closing your eyes, scanning, checking, kind of getting a deeper understanding of your reaction, your response, your emotional kind of, where is it that you go to in these situations? What is the emotional response to being in this practice? It's not that anything is right or wrong, that's where the interest is. Like, do you want to flee? Do you get angry, bored, frustrated? Or is it all bliss all the time? Lovely. So beginning now to take a nice deep breath in. Exhaling, nice long smooth breath out. And then slowly making your way back up and out of that shape, just nice and slowly. You might not have any other choice than to move slow, but that's good. We don't want to shake this feeling away. I just really encourage you not to shake kind of the feeling away. Straightening your legs. And when we're still like this, we really get to feel that movement of energy back around the body again. Just in a different way to how it would feel if we kind of shook ourselves out of that feeling. But of course you can always experiment and try things out for yourself. My own personal preference is to enjoy that stillness. Lovely. So let's bend the knees and come over onto one side so that we can come up, because we're now going to target the front of the hip, which is always juicy and challenging. So we're going to come into a lunge where we take our right foot forward and the left knee is back, and your hands can be on the floor either side of your right foot, or you could lift the floor up if you want to put anything underneath your hands, rolled up blanket, blocks, bolster. Or you could experiment, now this, with the body down like this, it's actually quite useful to feel what it feels like with your hands on the floor, because if you can look at the screen and see the kind of angle of my spine, I'm kind of coming straight up out of kind of my hips here. So the gravitational pull is quite different to how this would feel if you, say, for example, take your hands up onto your right knee and now you're a little bit more upright. And that puts a lot more kind of gravity down into the left hip. So, you know, as my teacher says, choose your poison. Which form of gravitational pull is right for your body. So again, we do want to relax. We want to find an element of softening, letting go. We're not kind of actively squeezing anything. We're creating kind of deep lengthening in the front of this hip flexor, and by doing so we're actually freeing up discomfort, pain in the lower back area. So make sure you're just nice and balanced. The breath can be smooth, steady, and now we get to notice, whoosh, what type of reaction we might be experiencing being in this shape. It changes from moment to moment. That's the beauty of yin. It's an amazing practice for that. I know you've heard me say this in class, but we can go from blissed to pissed and back again within moments. It's a whole variety of emotions can be experienced in just even in one yoga pose. Never mind the whole entire length of a class. It's fascinating. Lovely. So just let's say 3 more breaths here. One more deep breath in, exhaling. And then now our sweetness coming out of this shape, we're going to slide the right foot. So you have to lift the hips a little. Slide the right foot back. So the right knee is beside the left knee. Let's come down onto our belly. Ooh. Maybe you got a little warm in that one. It's very heating, that dragon. It's called dragon pose. It's very heating. So if you got hot, it just kind of means you were really tugging on that stomach and spleen meridian line, creating the heat that we need to digest our life. So let's come back up nice and slowly. And we're going to get ready for the other side now. So the left foot comes forward. And as I say, you can always, you could always start in one shape and move into another shape. So you might start up high and then come back down again. Or it's rather juicy on the front of that hip flexor there. But try to relax somewhat. Feel like you have stability as best you possibly can. So that might just mean that you need to take your left foot out to the side a little bit. But we also want to soften. We don't want to really be using those muscles around the hips here. Coming into our dragon pose, into our breath, into gravity. We get to even drop into that space of gravitational pull. We're learning the elements of the earth, the air around us, gravity. And any little bits of lengthening. What's happening in the fascia, the connective tissue? This is really a practice that can only be felt on the inside. Nobody really can see what's happening, how it feels on the inside. Only you. Lovely. So let's finish here with 3 breaths. Nice. And then taking your hands maybe to the earth if they're not already. And we're going to push the hips back a little gently and then slide the left foot back. Let's come down onto our belly. And actually we're going to come straight round onto our back. So arms out to the side, just allow everything to relax for a moment. Lovely, and then hopefully you have access to a block. Or if you don't have a block, you could use a kind of a nice thick book. We're going to come into Golden Gate Bridge, where we slide our block just underneath our lower back, the sacrum, the very base of the spine. So it's very low down. It's no pinching of the lower back here. And then we're going to straighten the legs out. And please avoid that temptation to have the block any higher. We really want it to be on its lowest level, because this is just a nice kind of subtle way of lengthening again through the front of the body, but giving a little space for the lower back. So we know we're in the right zone if our legs aren't having to do anything here. The moment the legs have to get involved, any action in the muscles, then we need to probably move the block a little further down. So scanning again, checking that you can relax your legs. Lovely. So beginning to take a nice deep breath in now. Exhaling, nice long smooth breath out. And then slowly bending your knees, taking the soles of the feet to the floor. And pressing down through the feet, lifting the hips just enough so you can slide your block out from underneath you. Lowering your spine, your hips back down to the earth. And then from here we're actually going to come back up to sit. So whether you rock up or you come over onto your side and come up that way. We've done a lot with the hips today, but we're going to finish with a little bit more for the heart. So if you have something to sit on, lifting your hips. Nice. And this is a little bit more movement, but it's so good for our heart and our lungs. We're going to take our arms out to the side, turn the palms up. Nice. And then bringing those fingers in towards your hands in towards your shoulders. Make a big circle with your elbows out and around. And then press the arms forward, palms open. Just until you feel that behind your shoulders, the underneath side of the arms. And then as we inhale, we turn the palms up. Fingers come in, hands come in, big circle with the elbows, and then exhale, arms out to the side. Inhaling, so all of this movement on the inhale. Exhaling, arms reach forward. Inhaling, hands come in. Nice big circles. Exhaling, arms out to the side. Inhaling. And exhaling, arms out in front. Inhaling. And exhaling, arms out to the side. Inhaling and exhaling, arms out in front. Inhaling and exhaling, arms out to the side. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Lovely. Inhaling, Exhaling, taking your arms out to the side. Inhaling. Exhaling, arms out in front. Inhaling. So we can be yin-like, exhaling in our movement. Inhaling and exhaling, arms out in front. Lovely. Inhaling and exhaling. One more round. Inhaling, exhaling, arms out in front. Inhaling, big circle, exhaling, and releasing your arms back down onto your legs. Just noticing now the energy around your heart through the arms. Lovely, and then slowly making your way down now onto your back into final relaxation. Corpse pose, Shavasana. So if you have something that you can place underneath your knees, legs nice and wide, arms out to the side, and really in Yin we call this pentacle, just to give us a different name for this shape, but we can take the legs a little wider, arms a little wider, becomes a bit like a star shape. Maybe a blanket over the top. Just allow your body now to relax completely, softening, letting go. Maybe a few click-clacks. But we also can be aware of the energy moving around the body, settling back down. So softening through your legs, your hips. Allowing your spine to relax. Allowing your shoulders to melt into the earth. The arms nice and heavy. Softening your throat, your neck, your jaw, your face, your eyes. And allowing the back of your head to be nice and heavy as you sink down into the earth. Lovely. So beginning now to take a nice deep breath into your body. As you start to move your fingers and your toes. And then when you're ready, drawing your legs together, lifting your arms up over your head, giving yourself a nice stretch. What a gift you've given yourself. And bringing your knees in towards your chest, giving your knees a nice big hug, a little rock from side to side. And then coming over onto your left side, curled into a ball. As you press into the earth with your right hand, making your way up to sit in a nice comfortable cross-legged position. Sitting with your eyes closed. Just checking in again. This moment is so precious. We get to check in with our bodies, our hips, our energy, our breath. The benefits of our practice. And then I wanted to share some words with you from Mark Nepo's book, Things That Join the Sea and the Sky, called Letting Everything In and Through. Let me keep surrendering myself until I am utterly transparent. The ultimate value of staying open is that we're scoured clean of all that might burden us. Memories, wounds, assumptions, and conclusions. Even the debris of unworkable dreams. And more important than that, than what we reach for or aspire to, is the cleansing release of all that takes up residence in the reservoir of our perception and feeling. For unprocessed experience and unlived dreams clog our arteries of being, and this can be life-threatening. So like it or not, we're asked to let everything in and through, trusting that it's the passage of life through us that is renewing, not what we accumulate or accomplish along the way. As blood must pass through organs, as rivers must empty into the sea, thoughts and feelings must pass through our being if we're to stay fresh and changeable. After all these years, Mark, I've come to see that the aim is not to be empty or full, but to stay an open channel for everything life has to offer. And every day we have an opportunity to learn and remind ourselves how to do this. So staying open and releasing all the debris that we collect. So we'll close our practice now with the sharing of 3 Oms, that sound vibration that signifies the beginning, the middle, the end of everything. We'll take a nice deep breath in. hands in front of our hearts as we bow in gratitude, in thanks to our bodies and our breath and our minds and our hearts for serving us so well, doing such an amazing job. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace to each and every one of you and beyond, to your loved ones beyond, into the universe. May all of our actions, our thoughts, our words contribute in some way to the happiness and freedom of everyone, everything we share the planet with. Namaste. Namaste.